Welcome, friends. My name is Sophie, and I am a yoga health guide on her journey for truth, hydration, and wholeness. I am grateful our paths have crossed. Enjoy the episode. Hello. Good evening. I have no idea why I started laughing when I hit record, but here we are. I'm in the car, and maybe I'm just really excited because I'm just getting out and recording this playlist. Like, I don't know why my mind still thinks I've got to be in a certain place at a certain time to record these things when what I want to say is right on the tip of my tongue at the very moment. So here we are. I hope you've been well. I have been very good, and I am very pleased with the results of my sabbatical. I am here to talk about that today. I have taken a media sabbatical, and I'm gonna say, like, completely honestly, I really only committed to 1 week. After that, I started to introduce a couple of things in, and by now I'm kind of like in full, not like whatever mode. I'm still being extremely mindful of what I'm bringing in, but I'm allowing myself to dive into whatever I'm inspired to at that moment and look up the resources I need in that moment without feeling the pressure of needing to know something, which is huge for me. Because usually I research thinking that I need to further my qualifications to prove myself as a smart person in the field of yoga and health and Ayurveda and all of that, but I don't. And I've been able to give myself some space from those anxieties, which is really nice. So yeah, the 1 week, I do have notes from like when I was in it. I actually journaled every day, which is something ideally I would like to keep up with. Like, I love just give myself a summary of the day, and I found that typing it up was really a lot easier and quicker for me to get my thoughts and my feelings onto quote unquote paper than writing in an actual journal, which I also appreciate, but I'm just gonna go with whatever's easy. But I was able to really digest my life and with that practice. So, it was really just a paragraph or two per day, but it was really impactful. So that's something I participated in. I noted a lot of just a little bit of boredom at first. Like, I was really, kind of gung-ho working for it. I eliminated all media, all tech, with the exception of using my phone to contact people. No social media, and that's still something I really haven't brought back fully, because it's to me right now it's the most evil thing of all in my life. And sorry, I'm driving in the car. I was able to find a lot of space to really take myself on a retreat. Like, I had hours upon hours in the morning and in the night to take care of myself. And so I did. I was cooking and eating well. I was doing breath work. I was doing my Abhyanga every day. I'm still doing my Abhyanga every day. I've been doing enemas every day, which is a whole nother topic, which I love. Great stuff. And just really leaning into skincare for me as well. Like, make sure I stay hydrated inside and out, because that's really important as someone who burns pretty hot these days and living in a dry climate. And I gotta say, y'all, like, it was a complete 180 from the sensations and emotions I was feeling just a week prior. Like, I was in a pretty dark place, and considering some methods that felt to me were really extreme, which is saying something, methods that I really didn't want to go down, that I just didn't feel like were for me. And I knew that it was simply like these feelings, right? Feelings aren't always fact. And I really have to keep myself in check for that, because my feelings, when I get them, they swing hard. I don't know why, but it's so intense, and perhaps that's just like this equilibrium I'm trying to find from being able to allow myself to feel again. These past really 4 or 5 years have been a journey of me getting back in touch with my emotions, and so perhaps I'm still trying to balance this out. But because I swing so hard, my thoughts go to extreme action and despair and depression, and that's not healthy. But it was really, as I was saying, just a symptom of not taking the time to take care of myself. I was getting swept back up in the responsibilities that I agreed to do, right? I knew it was too much, and yet I did it anyway. And so taking responsibility for that and taking my life back into my own hands and understanding, yes, there's an ebb and flow to these things, and you have complete control, right? We have to lean into faith, and that's always meant more to me than just hoping for something. You have to trust, and you have to believe it with every fiber of your being, and you have to take action that aligns with the fact that whatever you're trying to bring into your life or take away, it's already there. And that's a great segue into me being able to deepen my relationship to God. And that has been a wild, beautiful journey for me. I grew up in a really religious place, but I never vibed with it. And for good reason, right? And so I come to you now not as someone who's partaking in any religion at all, because I understand that the constructs that religion was created upon was not original to this world. It was taken over by the dark forces that want to keep us pretty much in evil, in sin, if you will. And so I'm coming at you now seeing synchronicity after synchronicity after I've set intentions or cast spells or laid prayers for my life, and just seeing these things almost instantaneously come true for me. And that's been such a beautiful journey this last, my whole life, but really this last couple years, leaning into the fact that I'm always taken care of. I've always said that as a mantra for myself, and yet I always am. Every time we get down to something that's a little, end of the line feeling, I've come to the point where I can just trust that something's going to happen to catch us, and it always does. And so I've been leaning more and more into that relationship with God, and that's been a beautiful journey for me, because I can now it's allowed me to trust more and more and more. And I cannot tell you how much peace it brings, how much what's the word for it, right? It really leaves me speechless at how miraculous your magic is. Really, how miraculous it is to connect to the God that's within you, to offer yourself to complete love, and to be complete love, and to see that come back at you tenfold. An example today, I have a client, and unfortunately it had gotten to the point where every time we got together, the word of the vax came up, and it would cause such dissonance in me. And today it came up again, and I'm like, I'm just gonna have to not be around this anymore. And then I was like, well, no, that will harden me. What I need to do is, pray on it, set a spell for it, whatever you call it, give love, send love out to this woman, and hoping that she finds, the truth, right? The truth for her. And not 20 minutes later, y'all, I get back with her dog and we have a beautiful conversation about what's going on in the world, this pandemic, and what we think things mean. And we ended on such a beautiful note with such respect for each other. And I cannot tell you how satisfying and beautiful that was for me to see this prayer instantly answered. And as soon as I turned away from her, I started to cry. That's how much beauty I was and gratitude I was feeling in that moment. And moral of that story is having all this space, taking all of these forces away from my consciousness, pulling me away from my God center, brahmacharya. It's one of the limbs of yoga, is to come back to your God center, abstain from that which takes you away from the God center. And that's been, I think, the most powerful thing of all in this experience. And I'm not going to say I didn't get bored, especially near the end there. All I wanted to do, I was having all this inspiration, right? And instead of the initial impulse to dig up my intuitive responses and dig up my imagination, all I wanted to do was pick up 5 books, 500 books, 5,000 books. Can you tell I love books? And find out what I could, dive as deep as I could into the topic. But the nice thing was I wasn't doing it because I felt like I needed to know. I was doing it because I was inspired to know. And that is also a huge deal for me. So something that I'm going to try practicing, right, is instead of taking immediate action upon something, like if I get inspired, I want to be able to sit with that and to meditate with it and see what comes up for me and wait for the sign from God or source or, whichever you want to call it. Waiting for that sign from God on what the next step is, right? What am I to bring in? What am I to do to manifest that divine vision, right? Yeah, it was a beautiful process, and I think I want to do it absolutely more often. We'll see what happens. When I let myself come back into the sabbatical, when I let myself come out of the sabbatical, it was one weekend, and I was like, you know what? I went out last night. There was music, there was video games we played. I basically broke it, right? Even though I was kind of, you can't not go to your friend's birthday party, So you got to pick what's more harmful at that point. And to me, it was going to be more harmful to abstain from going to that party and not being in the media versus going, right? So the next morning, I was like, I basically broke it. I think I can go ahead and end this now partially. So what I did was I slowly brought back music and brought back some books. Really, I was only invested in one book, and it was this Ayurveda for Self-Care book by Kate O'Donnell, which I highly recommend everyone goes to buy. All 3 of her books are amazing. And so that was nice. It was keeping it simple. It was bringing just a little bit and still leaving lots of time for quiet in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Like instead of feeling like I had to blast a bunch of music every time I got into the car, I let myself be in silence. And I've noticed because my tendency is to blast really energetic music, and I'm already an energetic being, that taking that away really allowed my energy to be more settled and be a little more sustainable, if you know what I mean. Instead of just these bursts of, oh yeah, it's like, here I am shining my light, doing my thing in ease all day long. And that's been great. I also attribute that to the fact that I'm slowly weaning coffee out of my life. Very grateful for that experience too. And so about halfway through week 2, I began to kind of let loose. Like I watched a little bit more TV, not a ton. Like I watched the Casey Musgraves Christmas show with one of my kids, and that was awesome. And by my kids, I mean the kids that I babysit and nanny for, who I love so much. We've been listening to Christmas music a lot, and the Great British Bake Off, because it's one of the best, most wholesome shows in the entire world. And Nolan and I, because Nolan respected, thank goodness for this man, he respected the fact that I didn't want to experience video games or music or anything like that. So whenever I came to the house, because I'm pet sitting right now, he would turn it off and we had some great deep diving conversations. And so having the space for this genuine connection to come back through, not that we ever lost it, but just like to shine a little brighter than usual, was wonderful and continues to this day. So by end of week 2, I'm pretty much like back in it, doing whichever. We went to see Eternals, which was good. Shang-Chi's the best. And yeah, just kind of flowing with it. The biggest thing that I'm writing right now is the history of Tartaria and the actual history of our world, and leaning into scriptures about, believe it or not, Jesus, and particularly the Essene Gospels of Peace, as well as this book, Celtic and Irish Wisdom Preserved in the Bible and Pyramids. Really interesting stuff. So if you guys are into that, or if you want to be into that, holla so we can obsess over it together. It's amazing, and it opens my mind and my heart to so much possibility. I think that this world and us as humans, we're so much more. We were so much more. And the great thing is we still are that. We've just forgotten. And that's really what I feel like that's really what I'm called to do in this life. Like diving into truth and not being afraid to bear it. I cannot tell you how liberated I feel from opening my eyes, from experiencing the pain that this pandemic caused and crawling out of it, wanting to know the answers and willing to go to great lengths to get them. I'm finding so much power in that. And as you know, who is it? Elsa from Frozen says, you can't dive too deep or you'll be drowned. And that is another thing that I really wanted to come out of the media sabbatical, respecting those boundaries of when I have taken in too much information, because I can only digest so much, and not everything is meant for me to know, because a lot of it can be pointless, right? A lot of it is just fear-mongering. And so being able to pull out of that matrix, unplug from the fear porn, and plugging into the healing vortex, number one goal in this experience. And my highest intention, I think, right now is I just, all I want to do is share that with everybody, because it's been so profound for me, and I love how I feel, and I love how I live my life. And not saying like everyone has to live a certain way, but I think that there are divine laws in place which we should obey, right? And everyone's unique expression can honestly, everyone's unique expression can shine through the truest when we obey the laws of God and Mother Nature. Our parents, if you will. You know, they're here to keep us safe and guided and nurtured and loved. And yeah, I'm here for that. So if any of this resonates with you, always happy to connect. I am so happy to be sharing this, and I'm sorry, not sorry that it seems like a ramble and all over the place. I really don't care, and I swear I'm gonna quit apologizing and bringing this up, but like I really don't care how these podcasts go or how they come together or editing or anything like that. I put my little intro and my outro, boom, I'm done in 3 minutes, and there you go. This is me, raw, unedited Sophie Lee. Okay, so I feel a little bit of the ice cream I had spiking. I'm gonna go drink some water and do my wind down stuff for bed and get all cozy by the fire with these dogs and cats. So I hope that you have something equivalent in your life to keep you warm and cuddled and safe tonight. Lots of love to you. yogisophie.com. Peace out.